Hello everyone, welcome to the Tier 2 Canadian Grand Prix. Me and Evan will be commentating today's race. Hopefully, this might be the first race with some rain. Do you love a bit of a wet quali and a wet race every so often?
Might make it interesting today.
Would be nice to have a little bit of a switch up in the race. So it's looking like a dry quali at the minute, but for all we know, could rain later on in the session, as we saw in was it Baku?
Yes, Baku.
But yeah, Cameron in the chat. Hello. 11 minutes late. We're not late. We just had to wait for some people who said they could. The only way they're getting in the race is if they start a little bit late. We do have one more driver to join us, but they'll be joining later on during the quali. But before we see any times pop up today, we do have a couple new drivers. We have Xbox 7 Up in the AlphaTauri. He's one of the newer drivers. Decent pace. He will be up there with the top 4. Maybe to join Tier 1 later on down the line. But predictions today, Evan, where do you think everyone's going to be finishing? Who's the top 3 without qualifying times in yet?
I'm looking at the 2 Red Bulls, and I'm looking at irrelevant. Red Bulls right now leading the Constructors' Championship. Well, no, the second Constructors' Championship. But both drivers doing a stellar job. I'm expecting to see them up there fighting for the win.
And I'm going to say Hasbo. Hasbo, irrelevant, and I'm gonna go Xbox 7 Up, the new driver. See what he can do. As we can see, some cars coming out on the grid now, looking like one of the Hassers. As Toilet Shark is going to be fitting in for Taishu today. Need to get in contact with him. Don't know where he's gone. Who's second? Is that Phil Mitchell? Yeah, the mighty Phil. Hasn't had the best start to the season. It's had 1 podium and I think 3 DNFs. But the nicest way to put it, it's just Sky Wi-Fi for you.
Yep.
Hello Ariane. Hello Daniel in the chat. Give us your predictions, guys, in chat. Who do you think's gonna be on the top 3 spots for today's race? We have Dr. Crazy as well, who's moved to Alfa Romeo to replace Johnny. The 2 Alfa Romeo drivers going for that Constructors' Championship. At the minute, Red Bull and Alfa Romeo looking the strongest. AlphaTauri do have a fair amount of points, but that's due to the drivers beforehand that were in the seat. We'll go on board with Hasbo as he starts his lap. Don't think he's at the front. Never mind. Looks like he cut the chicane on the last turn, so he's DNF'd from this lap. Oh, invalidated this lap already. So we're on board with Aiden. Aiden secured 2nd place last week. Sorry, 3rd place last week. A very, very strong performance from Aiden. Don't think me, Evan, or Tom thought he was going to be able to pull that off.
It was brilliant.
So one of the Hash drivers has crashed in Sector 2. I think that's Toilet Shark.
It is indeed.
So far, so good for Aiden, keeping it clean, not invalidated. Looking like a decent lap from Aiden here, who's improving as we go. By the end of the season, I do think Aiden will be one of the quicker drivers up in the top 3. Everyone here to improve, just have fun. There's another yellow flag. I think that might be just Toilet Shark getting out of the way for another driver, which is what you'd like to see as Irrelevant brings in a 1097. See what Aiden brings in here. Doesn't invalidate, doesn't hit the wall. It's looking good. So 110.3. A very nice lap from Aiden there. Irrelevant. He's 6 tenths up. Irrelevant also driving in Tier 1 at the minute. He's depending on his finishing position today, might get a permanent move to Tier 1. We will see. But as Blink brings in a 110.5, another stronger driver. An insane power, 111.6 on the mediums. What would you do strategy-wise there at Canada?
I think I would go soft hard. I think the mediums can work around here, but I think it would be better just to fire it up at the start and then play conservative for the rest of the race.
Personally, I'd go soft medium, just because of how quick the medium tires are compared to the hard. And I mean, I'm not on a controller, so it's probably a bit easier for me to tire manage. So, yeah, soft to medium is what I'd go for, but not a bad lap on the mediums for the same power. It's not looking like any other drivers are going to be going for the medium tyre. I'll say that. Davies is on the mediums in the pits at the minute, but we'll see what happens. Who have we got on the lap then? Got Xbox 7-Ups on the lap. No, he's not. He's on an out lap. Finn's on the lap, but he's invalidated. Alphanet is on the lap. He's invalidated. Got the Crazies on a lap. He's also invalidated. Bradley does a 1:11.0. Not a bad lap for the new driver. Another driver that will hopefully gain a fair bit of pace towards the end of the season. Looks like he's going for another lap actually. He might be up on his lap now. As he crosses the line and does a
second fastest.
1:10.1. Very, very quick lap from Bradley there. Talking about him needing to improve time over the season, he goes second quickest. I think he did have DRS off of the back of Finn.
It does help.
Very nice lap from him. Good job to Bradley. What have we got on the lap? We've got YouTube Flipper on the lap in the first sector. As a brother, I can tell you that this guy has not done any practice. So
oh dear.
definitely have to bring that up with him. Otherwise I'm sure the Williams teammate won't be too happy. So far so good for Ryan. I think Canada was one of his stronger tracks last season. It's just the last term that catches a lot of people off guard. I don't know how you guys do that on controller. I did a lap earlier on in time trial, did a 1:09.5 on a controller. And,
you just send it in and hope you don't invalidate or smack into the wall of champions.
Yeah, that's basically all you can do. But Ryan's going to have the DRS off the McLaren here, so this is looking good for him. As long as the McLaren gets out of the way, which he does. And the Renault blocking them off. Doesn't validate, so it's fine. If he would have invalidated then, I'm pretty sure he would have said something to the Renault. It was Hasbro, so maybe we'll have to bring that up. But he does the 1:11.2. I think he's on another lap now, so him and Hasbro might get caught up with each other. Getting out of the way. So 1:11.2 from the Williams driver. And Jack does a 1:13. I'm going to guess he had a little incident on his lap. And Davies sets a 1:12.4 on the mediums. Going to definitely have to jump on those softs, or he's going to be starting in the bottom half. Who else do we have on a lap? We have Phil Mitchell. It's a invalid lap, sorry. F1 for the win. Looks like he's crashed at the start of sector 2. Assassin Aaron's on a lap. He's invalidated. On board with Irrelevance on a lap. He's 1,000th of a second off here. See what he can do. I think the DRS down that back straight is a big toe. I think that gains you a lot of time. I think we saw that with Bradley. As long as you get it right, as Hasbro goes first with a 1:09.5. Hasbro, one of the more dominant drivers in Tier 2. Another driver in to be moved to Tier 1. Do you have any idea how he did on Wednesday last week? I can't remember.
He didn't make the race.
That is true. He didn't make the race, I forgot.
But I'm very excited to have him as my teammate. Seems like a very formidable driver. Push me to improve some more.
Yeah. Someone set a lap. I didn't catch who it was. I think it was Aiden. Aiden improved his time to a 1:10.0. I could be wrong. There's Dangerous Donut. Sets a lap. Won a 1:10.5. It's not bad.
Xbox 7 Up's on a lap.
John on board at 7 up. One of the, as I said earlier, a very quick driver. I wouldn't be surprised if he's at the top of Hasbro and irrelevant this lap, but it will be interesting to see what the new driver brings to AlphaTauri. Well, if he is as good as his time trial says, then could be what keeps AlphaTauri at the top of constructors. Is he going to invalidate on the turn? It's good. Has the DRS down to the finish line. It's not looking like a very quick lap. Maybe a mistake during the lap. It's a 1:11.4. At least he got his name on there. But Davies retires in the pits.
Doesn't think he can improve with that medium lap.
Message the driver to come back. So yeah, Davies looking like he wants to start from the back. Maybe something we don't know about. Alternative strategy. We'll have to wait and see. As Phil Mitchell goes 5th at 1:10.5. I didn't catch that. Decent lap. And is in lap now. So we have a big difference in times. I reckon we'll see some 1:07s, maybe some some low 1:08s in Tier 1 on Wednesday. But we'll see. I think, if I'm not wrong, the race in Canada's quali is actually quicker than time trial.
I believe so.
So we could see some 1:07s on the Tier 1 race. That'd be cool. Tenek, 1:11.6. Blink goes 2nd with a 1:09.6. It's a nice lap from Blink. I don't really know where to look. Tenek told me he wasn't going to be here today, but he's turned up and he's racing. He's on his in lap. Insane power on an invalidated lap, sorry. Jack's on an out lap. I think that's Max, just set a 1:10.6. I don't think Max has had a top 6 start in a race yet this season. Max on the controller, even though he has a wheel. Don't know about that, but
Whatever.
you do you, my friend. Ryan on an invalidated lap. Yeah, I mean, if you have a wheel, you might as well use it. I don't think you can improve that much on a controller. It's very weird. Dr. Crazy's 2 seconds up on his time. Final sector now. As long as he doesn't invalidate on the last turn. Doesn't invalidate. Gets to go.
Nice and tidy.
DRS. Where's he going to go?
The old lead faucets.
It's not too bad for the for Dr. Crazy. I think if I'm not wrong, sorry, he is new this season to the game. I'm just messaging Tariq to make sure he gets in. So Jack is on the final straight. I'm not sure how this lap's going.
Took too much curb.
On the last turn. Yeah. It's unlucky. It was looking like a good lap as well. In the 1:10s. If he didn't hit the curb, that would have put him 12th. So still not good enough for top 10. Ryan was 2/10 up on his time. I don't see why people are on 2-lap old tyres. Like Dr. Crazy, is he on a? He's on a lap. No, he's going into the pits. Just you have three sets of softs, you might as well use them. 4 minutes left of qualifying.
Aiden's about to complete a lap here. Took too much curb there in the last corner again.
It's unlucky. It was looking like a good lap as well. 1:09.7. That would have put him. Third. Or thousandths of a second in front of Irrelevant. He needs to get round and get in the pits before the end of the quali session. So Phil Mitchell's on a invalidated lap as well.
Xbox 7 Up starting his lap.
Stay on board with 7 Up for this lap, see what he can do. I assume he made a mistake in the first quali lap he had. I think he's only set 1 so far. Alphinator, a driver that hasn't set Sorry, Xbox
Validates.
his lap.
Canada.
It hasn't set a lap yet.
Yeah.
Biden
his time. Canada, as a track, it's a very straightforward track, yes. But since there's so little corners, most of the track's flat out, you really have no room for an error in quality or the race.
There's just, I reckon we'll see a decent amount of time penalties today as Ryan's on the final straight on a lap. He was 4/10 up. 3 lap old tyres. Will he finish his lap? Going to the pits. He's going to finish his lap. He cuts the corner and invalidates. Don't know what he's doing.
I think we're going to be doing a fair bit of math today.
So he wouldn't have even made it to the end because he's out of fuel. So Alfanator sets a lap, goes 4th, a 1:10.0. Good lap from Alfanator there. Puts the Red Bull, never mind. I was about to say Red Bull second row lockout, but if I do the maths, that's completely wrong. Anyone else on the lap?
X7 have restarted his lap, but he's... Oh, had trouble with that last.
And Alfanator takes Xbox 7 up out. Doesn't get out the way. Ruins Xbox's lap. He's not going to be happy with that.
Now there's a huge crowd on the back straight.
Yeah. Tenek on the lap. Insane Power on the lap. Not there with the group. Looking good for Tenek. Alfanator retires from the session. Don't know if that's on track or not. Tenek is 2,000ths of a second up on his time. Needs to gain a bit more in the last sector to get in the top 10. Xbox 7 up isn't going to be happy. What can Tenek do? So Tenek goes into the pits.
Heads in.
Don't think he's going to get back out. Insane Power on the back straight. Doesn't look like so he's going to go for a lap this lap. It's not counting on a lap. Does 7 up go again? Yeah, 7 up's going again. There's 1 lap left to prove himself. Phil Mitchell's on an out lap. About to start his lap as well. We have the top 2 drivers as well on the lap. We're going to go on board with Blink. Sorry, Irrelevant. He's going to be first to finish his lap. Currently 2,000ths of a second down on his time. Irrelevant around the last turn. So he's on the final straight. It's looking good for Irrelevant here. And he crosses the line at 1:09.4. He goes first. Irrelevant taking the top spot. Blink just behind, but has invalidated his lap. He's not going to be able... I don't think he's going to... Unless the quality time's behind for us, I don't think he's actually going to make it.
Doesn't look like it, no. His Xbox 7 up slots him behind his teammate in P7.
From Xbox. So Blink made it onto his lap, so the time for us is wrong. So there might be more time left in the session than before. There's on board of Hasbo at the minute. He's 3/10 up on his time.
Looking good for pole position.
For Hasbo, yeah. All he's got to do is make it past that last turn. Phil Mitchell goes 4th with a 1:09.8. Might be on another lap now, but that's good from Phil. What can Hasbo do? Doesn't
good amount of curb.
It's looking good for P1.
And it's pole.
P1.
1:09.1.
Very nice lap from Hasbo. Nice and clean. Got it to work. Irrelevant validated his lap. Who's next to cross the line? It's looking like Dangerous Donut. This is working well for Blink. He's going to get the toe off his teammate. So as long as he doesn't validate in the last turn, this could gain Blink some time. Finn makes it past. Does Blink make it past?
Yes,
Blink
he does.
But he's 3/10 down in his time, I think. Dangerous Donut doesn't move. Blink doesn't move. Second for Irrelevant, third for Blink. Unless Phil Mitchell can do something, but he's not. He's coming into the pits. Aiden's finished. Xbox into the pits, and I think that's everything. Assassin Aaron's on the final straight. So is Jack. He's on the mediums. I don't know. Toilet Shark's also on a lap, but it's invalidated. Just Assassin Aaron and Jack left. Jack's gone into the pits. Assassin Aaron
gonna go in.
Will probably go into the pits as well because he's gonna go to cross the line. He's a fair bit down, but looking at the end of quali, a couple drivers, Ryan, Assassin Aaron, not changing their tyres in the pits. Probably why they didn't get to set a good lap time. 4 lap softs aren't going to be a good thing to start on. Well, he's not going to be starting on them because he's not in the top 10. But Hasbo with the 1091. I don't know what track's like at the end of a quali session. I don't know if it will. I don't know if it's like what's the word? Does the track get better in the last minute and a half?
It might have a little bit more grip in the last part of qualifying.
Don't know if it gets quicker or not. Either way, Hasbo, Relevant, Blink taking the top 3 spots. Phil Mitchell, a very good qualifier session. Hasn't had I think he's had a 4th at all this season. I think he's had a with an upsetting one. There's a Red Bull 3rd row lockout and an AlphaTauri 4th row lockout. So
Torrig, I believe, was able to get into the session right in the wee minutes of.
yeah, so I'm talking to him now about. Don't know if he made it on or not. Yeah, so Hasbo first, Relevant second, Blink first, Phil Mitchell 4th, Red Bull lockout on the 3rd row, and then AlphaTauri lockout on the 4th row. That's good from AlphaTauri. So Xbox having a bit of an unlucky one as Hasbo's left the session. Hopefully he can get back in before that. But Dangerous Donut in 9th and Max in 10th. So Finn and Max getting into the last 2 point position points to start the grid. And yeah, it'll be an interesting race. I don't know what to expect. I don't know if we'll see any safety cars. For all we know, it's about to rain. For all we know, people didn't look at the weather. They're on dry setups and it's about to chuck it down with rain.
Which will make this, well...
So, yeah, no, it's looking dry. It'll be interesting to see. Did Tariq make it in? Do you see his name on the right? I don't see his name.
Do not see his name, no.
Uh-oh.
I think he joined a little too late. Just unfortunate.
I don't even see... I think we need to invite Hasbo back because he's not in. Can you ping Hasbo an invite? Do you have him?
Yeah, I got him.
So, I wonder what strategies will be pulled out here. Canada, one of the weird ones. I don't really know what strategy works best on here. But Hasbo's car leading the warm-up lap, the formation lap. Let me get up the tyres. So we have one car on mediums, and that's Ryan in the Williams. Everyone else on softs. See what Ryan can do here. Can he make the alternate strategy work? So before the race starts, who do you from qualifying now? The qualifying times we've got. Who's going to finish in the podium positions?
I think Harry, if he can get back into his car, Hasbo is going to be a nice contender for the win.
It's not ghosted, is it? It is still ghosted.
Phil Mitchell had a great session as Xbox gets disqualified from the formation lap. I think Phil Mitchell, after a great qualifying session, is looking good for the podium. And Relevant, if he can avoid a mistake today, is on good form for P2.
The Irrelevant had a very good race in Australia with consistency, so I reckon Irrelevant will be better today. I reckon we'll see a couple of spins in the first turn. But I'm gonna go for a Phil Mitchell P1 because that's what we all want to see.
Obviously.
I want to see an Aiden P2 and a Alphinator P3. I think it'd be cool. Do you want to do the start or do you want me to do it?
I'll take the start. I haven't done it in a bit. I'll get set on the grid as the rest of the field forms up behind.
You are including audio, aren't you? I haven't checked.
Yes, I
Just
have
making
included
sure.
audio. Skip. Don't want anyone to be denied hearing my beautiful voice for this start. Red lights for us, but no one revving just yet. I think here we go to 5 red lights. And away we go. Tentative start as Relevant gets right up into the lead. Down towards turn 1. Almost 3 abreast of the back as we have a Renault spin-off. I believe that is the AI. Alright, I also believe we had a spin.
We had an AlphaTauri spin out as well.
We had a Ferrari spin as well.
So yellow flag sector 1, Irrelevance P1, Blink P2, Aiden P3 gets past Phil Mitchell. There's a safety car now. So what happened then? It looks like Alphinator just hit the back of Cameron under a virtual safety car. And Phil Mitchell got a penalty for it. So that will be Cameron won't be happy with that.
Nope.
As Alphinator drives into the back of him. I think that's something the game needs to sort out because that could be 5 seconds that ruin his race.
Yes.
I'm going to jump onto details and jump onto positions change. So Bradley, Xbox 7 Up, Finn, and Hasbo all
Had issues there on the start.
Yeah, I don't think Hasbo's got any damage.
It looks
People
good
are
to
hitting
me.
Each other.
The
Each other under a safety car.
AlphaTauris both have wing damage.
Not the best start for those guys. But we have if we go back to position changes. We've got Aiden's gained 3 positions. Tenek gains 7 positions up to 6th place. A very good start from Tenek. Alphinator's into the pits. That's for the wing damage that, when he rear-ended Phil. Max is up into P6 and Crazy up into P7. Jack's up to P8. F1 for the win up to P9. Toilet Shark P10. A lot of cars pitting due to wing damage. On the first lap, a couple cars going for their offensive strategies then. A couple cars onto the hards, a couple onto the mediums. They'll be going for as long as they can. But an interesting start. A safety car on the first lap. You love to see it. But yeah, don't really catch what actually happened at the start. All I saw was Hasbo's ghost.
Spin. I saw them spin.
On my screen, it just sent it down the inside of everyone. Yeah, so Phil Mitchell in 4th. I think Blink also picked up. So Blink picked up a penalty for track limits under a safety car, which is impressive.
Very impressive.
I think Alphinator got a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So at least he got the penalty that Phil Mitchell got for him colliding with him. So no matter what, Phil Mitchell will have to serve that penalty. That'll be when he goes to pit for his next tyre compound. Yeah, an interesting start. But I don't think those at the back that have had a stop will mind because the safety cars come out to save them from having to have the catch-up game. But from that, definitely the 2 Haas drivers gaining the most, and Tenek, a lightning start up into 5th place. Hasbo will have this race to prove himself now. What can he do from the back on the hard tyre compound? Can he fly through the field? Work his way back up. But this safety car will change a lot of strategies. Soft medium being a lot more accomplishable? Is that the word?
Yeah, more
accomplishable. I don't know if that's the word or not, but you know what I mean.
It's an easier strategy to pull off.
It is more easy to pull off now that there's been a safety car. There we go. You can get the softs further. But, yeah. The AlphaTauri is now catching up to the back of the field. I don't think the safety car will go in this lap because it's too late. I could be wrong. Oh,
nope,
yeah,
lights
the
go
car
off.
is in this lap. I am wrong. So what can we do? The AlphaTauri is getting unlucky. Hasbo I think everyone from Dangerous Donut down actually got wing damage. It looks like Toilet Shark just overtook someone. F1 for the win crash? F1 for the win has crashed under a safety car.
Well, he's in a half car, so he just pulled a Roman Grosjean from Baku 2018.
So you love to see. I don't know if Irrelevant's going to get slowed down here.
As safety car's in, and we're back underway.
I'm surprised Irrelevant didn't get slowed down though. Canada for me, when the car was going into the pits, it slowed me down and I lost my first place. But not many changes underneath the safety car end there. As F1 for the win definitely held up a lot of cars at the back of the field. 3-second gap from those guys as Alpha gets past Dangerous Donut. And Ryan side by side with Finn now into the next turn. Ryan backs off, keeps it clean. Assassin Aaron and Alfnea and Finn all getting past F1 for the win. It looks like he's crashed into the wall. Looking good for him. Either way, Irrelevant and Blink. Aiden all close. Aiden side by side with Blink gets past.
Great
Keeps it
pass.
clean. It doesn't look like Blink's going to dive down the inside. Keeps
Thought
it clean.
about it.
Mitchell on the back of them as well.
So Aiden now
on the
left
back
to
of
chase
Fennec.
Irrelevant.
Everyone's everywhere at the minute. Hasbro's working his way back up the field. Bradley gets past Lee. And Insane Power has a little tap with Lee there.
Alpinator 3 wide down the last straight to get by both Aaron and Toilet Shark in one spell sweep.
I think Alphanet might get caught off here as two cars go into the pits, but Alphanet has no ERS until the end of this lap finishes, so Assassin could attack back.
As I believe
keeps it clean.
Blink gets back past Aiden, I believe at turn 1.
Blink's flying away from Aiden now. Aiden might have made a mistake. 8 tenths behind Blink as Irrelevant's about to get out the DRS of Blink. Don't think he quite gets it as Finn and F1 for the win are in the pits. Probably for wing damage, but Irrelevant's flying away now. Trying to get rid of that DRS before it comes back next lap. Phil Mitchell. The top 6, all there for the fight. The big DRS train is on its way for sure.
Absolutely.
Alpha on the recovery drive after the wing damage under the safety car brought him into the pits. YouTube Flipper and Hasbo also on the recovery drive. Bradley on his way back up the field as well. Unlucky for Finn. Might get caught up in an accident, but see what he can do. He can probably get to the end on those tyres if he does it well. There's a yellow flag. I think that's the Xbox 7 up. He's spun on the hairpin as Hasbro gets past YouTube Flipper in before the last turn.
Good move.
Keeps it clean. He's on the back of Assassin Aaron now. Can he get past? Looks
Overtake.
like he might go for a move. A bit laggy there.
Keeping it clean.
Makes it past. As YouTube Flipper also gets past Bradley into the first turn.
As
Hasbro spins.
It's spun by the Mercedes of Assassin Aaron.
With Assassin Aaron clip, and that's unlucky. I don't know if he got wing damage or not. I can't actually see.
I don't believe he did not gain any wing damage from that.
Stupid camera angle, but I think Hasbro's
Now-
in there having a bit of a stinker.
Now Ryan is on the back of Assassin Aaron.
And send it down the inside. Nice move from YouTube Flipper.
Aaron's going to fight it back.
Guy's going to keep it though. I think Bradley's in the mix here as well.
Where's the Alpha Tower going to go?
Send it down the right hand side.
He's going to send left.
Side is. I think YouTube Flipper's going to have the DRS now, so Assassin Aaron probably should have stayed behind. It's looking like Bradley's going to go past as well. Let's go. Oh, it looks like Ryan. Either Ryan or Bradley caught the back of Ryan's car there. Ryan's got end
Wing damage. The Alpha Tower's in.
I think the Alpha Tower, he tried to send it down the right, and Ryan had the same idea, and it's just a bit of a mix up there. But Assassin Aaron keeps his position. Alphanate is up to 7th, and they're all on their way back up the field as Aiden's flying away from Phil Mitchell in 4th. Phil Mitchell needs to either get out of Tenix DRS or needs to catch up to Aiden's.
I think he's struggling with his tire temperatures at the moment.
Yeah, the medium traction control around here, if you don't know how to use it properly, the rears can get proper saucy. A lot of traction zones here, but Blink's out of the Blink's created a big enough gap to get Irrelevant out of his DRS. I don't think we actually caught that. Blink is into first place, and Irrelevant.
I didn't catch that either.
maybe a spin or something from Irrelevant. But Blink's flying ahead now. As Aiden's on the back of him, has the DRS, but isn't attacking too much, so he's just going to catch up.
Tennick's going to look for a move on Phil Mitchell here. Down the inside of the last chicane. Almost a little bit of contact.
Phil Mitchell over the corner. Tannick gets past for now.
Irrelevant's into the pits. Stopping for putting on a set of mediums.
So he's going for the 2-stop. It'll be interesting to see what strategies people pull off here. Will anyone go for the 1-stop soft medium? I know there'll be a few soft hards for sure. As Davies is up into 8th.
Blink has pulled a almost 2-second gap to the Red Bull.
So Aiden losing the DRS to Irrelevant because he pitted has lost him the catch-up DRS to Blink. Tennick also 3 seconds behind Aiden. I think Phil Mitchell struggling with those tyres for sure. Drifting around turns. He was talking about Fast and Furious earlier, but I didn't realise he was going to bring it into the race this evening. But Max is having a very good race so far. In 5th place, is behind Phil Mitchell. Does have 6 seconds worth of penalties though, as Phil Mitchell has 8. 5 seconds from under the safety car, and I think that little tap that he got from Tennick did send him over. I don't think you want to be going too wide into that last turn. It's not
catastrophic.
Here we start lap 9. Is Irrelevant gets past Assassinarian on the main straight. What's Canada like for ERS? Do you gain a lot of it back or not?
Since there's not a lot of corners, I wouldn't believe that you would unless you basically saved all of your ERS over a course of 2 laps.
I'm pretty sure you only gain ERS on that last big braking zone before the big straight. So Phil Mitchell gets another penalty there. And he's drifting.
He's struggling on those tyres.
He needs to get in and pit for a new pair of tyres, I think.
Alphenator
gets past Max. Is he going to get past Cameron?
He's going to go for it. Down the inside. Nice move. Moves him up into P4.
He's on the medium tyres. Going for the longer first stint. Max will be probably trying to tuck Phil Mitchell into this turn. This is the only part that I say that going for that double overtake wasn't a good idea. He's now going to have to use a lot of ERS to defend himself here. So we have a yellow flag signal, and that's an AlphaTauri. Probably Xbox 7 up at the back, but Phil Mitchell falling off the back of Alphenator. Don't know how Alphenator has made such a big gap, but
as into pits comes Phil Mitchell. Blink's also in the pits, so is Aiden.
Did Phil Mitchell just get another 5-second time penalty? No. So Alphenator into P1.
On the medium
Everyone
tyre.
Pitting for their tyres.
Max stays out another lap. He's probably going to head in soon. I think the preferred strategy around here is a 2-stop onto softs off into the mediums, according to AWS.
If Max is feeling esports worthy, he could go till lap 10, jump on the mediums and go to the end. That would be something cool to see from Max. Definitely one of the more up-and-coming quicker drivers to Tier 2. Redmond comes back in P3.
Blink's on the back of him on a new set of softs.
So the undercut's strong from what we can see, but the soft tyre compound are definitely a lot faster than the medium. If Blink plays this smart, he's just waiting for the long straight here.
Aiden put on a set of hard tyres. He's going to looks like he's going to try to go to the end on those.
Be interesting to see what Alphenator does. 2 lap old mediums. Obviously, he had to pit in the safety car at the start. He could be going.
As Max comes in, he might strap on a set of hards to the end here.
Fine, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some hard tyres. There they are, the hard tyres onto Max's car. So Relevant sets the quickest lap of the race so far, a 1:12.5. Davies up into 5th on those hard compound tyres. He will be very quick towards the end of this race. Throw some soft tyres onto the back of the racing point. 10 laps to go. He's going to be flying through this field with all the dead the dead medium and all the dead hard tyre runners. But Blink going for looks like a soft medium possibly.
Looks like
Gonna
it.
go for a move. No, he keeps it back.
He might wait until
the next straight.
Yeah, he might wait until the longest straight and then try to pounce.
But Hasbo's with Davies now. Tannick's right behind Hasbo as well. Tannick on the medium tyres. Could be going for a cheeky move here. But Davies and Hasbo will be going long on those hard tyres. They need to do the best they can to keep up with the consistent times. Otherwise, pitting later on
As Blink sends up the inside of the last chicane with a little bit of a lockup from Relevant, and that allows Blink back into P2, chasing after Alphinator now.
Looks like Insane Power
Retired.
has crashed into the wall. Insane Power, once again, really unlucky. He's definitely going to be messaging me on Discord right now saying he wants to quit. But that's brought out a virtual safety car. Insane Power, I don't think I know a more unlucky driver. He always gets caught up in something.
Just doesn't have the luck.
Virtual safety car here, lap 12. I wouldn't be surprised if Alphinator goes into the pits. Actually, no, it's nowhere near the pits, is it? He's not going to be there for that.
YT Flipper heads into the pits here, followed by the AlphaTauri and the Renault.
So, Filmich in for a wing change. Sorry, YouTube Flipper in for a wing change. He's going for the hard tyres. Bradley's pitted for, looks like a fresh pair of softs.
Jack serves his 5-second penalty with a wing change.
We're going onto the soft tyre compound. Interesting. How many drive-throughs will we see from this virtual safety car?
Enough.
This last turn here that Alphinator is about to turn up to is a very dodgy one. Doesn't get
As there's one.
it,
As Bradley.
In the AlphaTauri, getting the drive-through for the virtual safety car. But at the minute, Alphinator leading the pack.
We're back
Still
underway.
Yet to pit for another tyre compound. Blink obviously will have to pit again.
Asbo disconnects again.
Asbo's internet not doing bits for him.
And his AI is being hunted down by Davies and by Tannick, who almost looks at the inside of Davies, thinks better of it. Oh, contact!
Davies lost the rear end.
Tannick tried to force the issue.
Tannick tried to go up the inside as Davies would have stayed on the outside, but Davies lost his car and took him and Tannick into the wall.
Wing damage for
Tannick
Tannick.
won't be happy with that as a yellow flag sector 1. I think that's Dangerous Donut and Crazy fighting. It's an invisible car there. Is that? Looks like one of the Hasses as F1 for the win spins again into the wall. A few words might have to be said there after the session.
As he retires.
Is that going to bring out a safety car?
No. Does not look like it will bring out a safety car.
I think Alphinator would have appreciated a safety car there. Still going at it. Yellow flag sector 2.
It's for a Haas. I believe it's
Look at the field here. Dr. Crazy on the back of Dangerous Donut now. Has the DRS on the main straight. Will he go for a move? He's not using the overtake button. He'd be waiting for this straight here as Phil Mitchell's also on the back of them on the soft tyre compound. If he wants to get the maximum performance out of those, he needs to get past these guys and get some clean air as soon as he can. As Tannick gets past Hasbo. Hasbo obviously having the connection issues. A regular occurrence here in the league. And Alphinator fighting with Blink. Blink gets past.
Gets a great traction with the soft tires.
Who has the DRS? I think Blink has it.
It will be Blink with the DRS, yes. But Alphinator's still going for it.
Still going to go for it.
Using a lot of overtake. He's going to fight this one out here. He's going to set it up the inside. Almost a little bit of contact. Kept it a little bit clean. Blink had to go onto the runoff curb, but he's going to fight it back. He got squeezed off.
Alphinator squeezes Blink off the track.
That's going to allow Relevant back through.
Into the play. Yeah, I think that's a bit dirty from Alphinator, to be honest. Doing the old Kevin Magnussen, pushing people out wide.
I don't know, we were in Hungary from 2017.
Yeah. It's unlucky unlucky for Blink. I personally wouldn't be Too impressed, but Aiden behind on the hard tyres. All the cars in front of him will have to pit again, so if Aiden can go to the end on these tyres, it's looking pretty good for him.
Max Rogers gets
hards.
Max gets past
Irrelevant
Hasbo
gets past Alfanea.
as he moves himself up into the lead.
Max
On those fresher
takes Hasbo, so does Finn, and soon to follow Dr. Crazy and Phil Mitchell. So Hasbo's just dropping down the field now. Not looking good for him, but Irrelevant's defender now. If Alfanea has the DRS, the red flashy light on the back of Irrelevant's car, meaning he's below 20% on the ERS. So it doesn't look like Alfanea got too good of an exit. For some reason I don't have any times here, they're coming through now. So Blink's on the back of Alfanea. He's back again. He wants his position back, he's not too happy.
We have a nice little scrap heating up for 8th, I believe, because Dr. Crazy's up on the back of Dangerous Donut as Phil Mitchell makes a move on Hasbo to move himself back into the
Hasbo back in
points.
this car. So Hasbo is back in the car. You can tell by the way the car's flying everywhere.
Right back into the heat of it.
Finn gets past Max into the first turn. Is he going to keep it? Max isn't going to go around the outside. Dr. Crazy on the back of them on the quicker set of compounds. The quicker set tyres. Phil Mitchell on the back of them on the softs. So Phil Mitchell needs to do something here because those tyres are coming towards the end of their stage, and if he wants to get anything more out of them, he needs to do something now. I think Phil Mitchell's running a bit of a weird setup. Seems to be struggling with
those tires, yeah.
Yeah.
Might be alleviated once he goes on to a harder compounded tire, but struggling on
the pits. Blinks into the pits, probably for the mediums.
Switch over to
the end for those.
Finish off his strat. Oh, he puts on another set of softs. Oh, he's wing change.
How many? I'm gonna quickly jump on race director. I just want to see. So Blink's been. This is his third set of softs. I think Blink's thrown away the race here.
I think he has as well.
I don't know if he's accidentally gone onto softs instead of a different tyre compound, but it looks like he's definitely thrown the race away here. It's one of the AlphaTauris. It looks like Xbox again has spun out, not enjoying himself on those tyres at all.
I think Hasbo have gotten back past Phil Mitchell, who's still struggling on those softs.
He sounded so British then, it was amazing.
Hasbo looks at the inside. A little bit of contact. P9 as the two Ferraris go side by side down the straight.
Blink on that particular tyres gets past. But Davies is looking good from the back of the field up into 5th at the minute.
He's run those hard tires the same amount that Alpha has run his medium tires on. About 15, 16 laps.
We'll be into the pit soon. As it looks like one of the Renaults spun. I think that's Jack.
Having torrid of the time here.
Looks like he's just stopped on the track.
A nice place to rejoin.
Relevance into P1. Alphanea is 4 seconds behind, and Aiden's 4 seconds behind Alphanea. Aiden is going to the end, and the two cars ahead do have to pit. So if Aiden can make this work, it's looking good for Aiden here.
As long as he can, as long as he sets in some nice lap times, I'm pretty sure he will come out ahead of both cars here.
Tenek can go to the end on these tyres. It is possible. 25 laps on the mediums, but it is a stretch.
As Aiden is catching up to his teammate, he just took another about 5/10 out of him that lap here.
I think Alphanea is struggling on those mediums for sure. I think something that some of these drivers do, as we saw with Alphanea there, he had 100% ERS. He uses it all at one period. He doesn't like gradually use it over laps. And if he had 100%, all he's doing is save, and he's not using. So the cars behind
as in comes the Red Bull of Alphanator.
Alphanea into the pits.
That's going to release his teammate to try to chase down Irrelevant here.
So he's going on to another set of mediums. So Alphanea going for a 2-stop. Had to serve this 5-second time penalty that he got
and a wing change.
Spin in the pit lane. Tenek goes up into 3rd. So Alphanea with the 5-second time penalty, the wing change, and is on a 2-stop. This could be interesting for him. This is looking good for people like Finn and Davies, who...
Oh, absolutely.
going for one more stop later on, but anyone that's going to the end now, people like Max and Aiden, it's looking really good for them. Bear in mind, they won't have to do another stop as Hasbro fallen back down the order again. Phil Mitchell struggling a lot on those soft tyres. Obviously, qualified P4, but tyres not helping him out at all. Hasbro and connection. Every driver on the grid has a penalty at this stage. Hasbro has 18 seconds worth of penalties. That could be a
We're gonna make
cheeky
the game's gonna be doing some math today.
Yes, sir. Well, that could spice up the end. We could see a lot of position changes at the line at the end of this race, but I think the closest battle we have in a minute is Max on the back of Finn. Max's tyres 6 laps fresher than Finn's. Finn will have to pit again.
I think Max is gonna take these tires to the end.
If I was Max, that is what I would do. 15 laps left to go of this race. I don't think you can do 30 laps on hard.
As we have a battle here for P3, as Blink has gone around the outside. Tanek down towards turn 2.
Looks like Tanek picked up a bit of wing damage, just missing the right end plate.
He's had that damage since he made contact with Davies back at turn 2 a couple of laps ago. I think.
Davies just on a consistent drive. Finn has caught up to Davies, so he's going to have DRS. There's a big train here behind Max. Alphinator in 9th place. He's going to be looking to get past Dr. Crazy as they go side by side.
And around the outside and takes the spot.
It's past, nice and smooth from him. Cameron's a bit far back there. Needs to get onto probably a medium compound tyre and just get his foot down.
As Irrelevant struggling
tires
on his mediums now. Sendabon has been on these tires for 13 laps, and it's showing as he has a little bit of a moment out of turn 2.
It's just looking good for Aiden.
If he can avoid making a mistake, avoid getting any wing damage, he might be in contention for this win today.
See how well he can do on the hard tires at the end. Just needs to do some tire management. Try not to.
Davies is under threat from Finn and Max Rogers as well.
It's a big train behind Davies here. There's going to be a lot of close calls here. As Tanek has fallen back a little bit as well, as Davies is on the back of him as well. So there's going to be a few overtakes here into this next turn as Finn goes for the outside line on Davies.
Couldn't find it. Couldn't make it work.
And Max has a bagged exit because of it. Alphinator gets the inside line, gets past Max. He's gonna.
Davies has another lockup.
Callum's gonna go for the move on Finn now.
Clouds have started to form over the circuit here.
Finn's out of ERS. Don't know what that Haas is doing, but that Haas
as
is
we got
in speed.
about a 3-car.
Oh,
we had a spin between Tanek and Davies again.
Davies is off the track. Davies and Tanek loving each other. Oh, and Davies spins when trying to get back on the track as Phil Mitchell gets a scare of his life, seeing a big F1 car blocking off his path. Alphinator up to P4. He'll be going to the end on these mediums, so it's looking good for him. Dangerous donut. And Max all together again. Tanek won't be too happy with the way Davies has affected his lap twice. Will Davies going to the pits?
Has Blink been on another set of alternate tires?
He's only been on the softs.
As Davies is retired.
Pulls into the pits.
As the rain has started. It has started to rain on the Halo, the Ferrari. This is going to switch up.
That could spice things up here.
This is going to switch up the race now. I think Irrelevant played this right. I think he stayed out on those mediums long enough just for the rain to hit so he could switch onto inters.
Maybe this is why Blink has gone on the softs 3 times. He didn't want to go onto a slow tyre compound.
Because he knew the rain was coming.
Don't think that's the right call. Finn's doing a good job keeping those 17-lap-old hards out for this long before the rain here.
Is now Max Rogers is close up to the back of him as well. These drivers are going to need to be careful getting traction out of
That'll be why Phil Mitchell didn't pit. That'll be why his 12-lap-old softs are still here. But
as Blink comes into the pits for a set of mediums, he pits for mediums and switches his front wing.
Blink onto Is this Blink racing or is this someone else in the seat? Because
I have no idea.
I think the Ferrari strategist is going to be.
All right, who let Mattia back into the strategy box? Come on now.
Oh no! Well, he's on the medium tires in the rain. He's just drifted out of the pits.
On board with Aiden, you can just see how treacherous the conditions are. He's having to really.
So we've got 2 people on the pits now, 3 people. So we have some interrunners. Will these interrunners gain much time? Phil Mitchell had to get a wing change.
Aiden's going to need to come in now. He's struggling on his hards as the rain keeps falling.
Off the track.
If we have yellow flags, I don't believe he has yet. As into the pits come Irrelevant. Into the pits comes Aiden. As he goes too fast in the pit lane. Penalty.
Look how many seconds people have. People like Irrelevant, Alpha have 3-second time penalties. This is going to be good for them. There's Hasbo's close to disqualification. 26 seconds.
Oh dear.
There's a lot of penalties here, ladies and gentlemen. A couple people still yet to pit. So Alpha is into the pits now. Dangerous Donut and Max, I reckon, will be into the pits right now. I think anyone that stays out has made a big mistake. Looks like Phil Mitchell gets past the Renault of Jack.
Blink almost played this strategy right had he switched onto the inters when he came into the pits.
If he was on the inters, he would smashed it. That would have been an easy.
As now a double stack at Ferrari is going to hamper him even more.
Oh no! And they're not ready for him.
They're not ready. Oh, this is a disastrous stop.
Blink. 5 pit stops this race.
As he goes now.
Went into mediums. Oh no. If Blink still gets points from this race, I don't know how, but congrats.
Now everyone coming in to get onto the set of inters. As been looking for a move up. Tenek, oh, they almost made a little contact.
Hasbo on that Virgin Wi-Fi. He's going to go for a dive on Tenek. And Tenek's scared of people diving on him now after releases he's had. His YouTube flipper gets past Bradley. He's on the back of Blink now. Is that Blink? No, that's a... I don't know who that is. I think that's... I think YouTube flipper's unlapping himself, so that's Irrelevant.
Yep. I will
Aiden's...
point out a driver who I think has done an exceptional job today is Max Rogers, up in P4. Sitting about...
The only problem he's going to have is the 15 seconds worth of time penalties that he's picked up. But Aiden was doing well, is in 2nd place, but does have 11 seconds worth of penalties. So penalties going to be playing a big factor. But Aiden made his strategy work. He got past Alphinator and Blink. Irrelevant's keeping it smooth. Jack Gretton's still... It looks like he pitted onto the wrong
tire as he's on mediums.
It's Dr. Crazy and Hasbo having a bit of a
nice scrap
fight into the last turn.
As Crazy comes in again, speeds in the pit lane.
I don't think it could get any worse for the Alfa Romeo driver. His debut at Alfa Romeo is getting another wing change.
As now is Irrelevant's coming up on the back of the field here.
Looks like Assassin Aaron just pushed Ryan off the track.
I think Ryan was trying to get out of the way of the Alfa Romeo. Just necessary because we were ghosting on.
I think he was ahead and Max had stopped on the last turn and Ryan had to avoid it or take wing damage, but chose to avoid as one of the Red Bulls. No, that's one. Sorry, one of the Alpha Tauris. Looks like they spun on the exit of the hairpin.
As I've noticed that Aiden has steadily gained time here on Irrelevant. I think Irrelevant is struggling a little bit with his inters and his setup possibly. He's struggling just a little bit here.
A cheeky wing change on the height of that in the pits. I know Blink did. This will be interesting now. Hasbo's on the back of Phil Mitchell again. These two getting a lot of racing in today between them as
Hasbo gets another 3-second time penalty.
He's on 29 seconds now. He'll be very close to disqualification, I think.
He needs to not make any more mistakes here.
2. That's Jack, I think, off as Hasbo's left the session again.
And Wi-Fi hampering him again.
anyone on BT or anyone sees this, you might want to hit this guy up with some good internet. As I'll tell you, if Hodrin isn't doing it for him. But not many people close to each other now. Max is second and a half in front of Finn. Unlucky that he's got this many penalties, as Phil Mitchell could make this work for himself. He's within the gap to gain a position on Dangerous Donut due to his mass amount of penalties, as Jack is off the track again. And Tenek gets past Hasbo. Blink is on the back of him.
I think it's going to be a nice easy overtake here for Blink.
At this point, I think Hasbo's out of the call for a point with this amount of penalties. As Assassinaren, Future Flipper gets past Assassinaren. Look to have been struggling in the brain at the start of the lap, but Dangerous Donut in the DRS. What am I about in the DRS? Within the second of Max. Obviously no DRS in the rain. Big brain.
Yeah, very
8 laps
big.
left to go in this Grand Prix. We'd love to see a bit of rain, spice things up. I definitely think it would have been Aiden's win if the rain didn't come. Still 8 laps to go, anything could happen. Inners go 8 laps, don't they?
Yep.
Easily. So now it's basically just a penalty game. Assassinaren could gain a fair few positions if he can make up some time. Only 3 seconds on the penalties, and Alphinator also needs to gain about 10 seconds, 10, 11, maybe 12 seconds on Aiden to gain that second position, but
does not look like he's gaining that much time.
overall the points Red Bull will be gaining today is looking good for the constructors. Look at the standings chart. It's Hasbo
Rejoins again.
So Red Bull at this moment in time will be going up top in Constructors' Championship if they finish in the positions they're in now. As Bradley and Assassinaren having a little fight into the start of the second sector now on the main straight. Who got the better exit? It's looking like Bradley did, but Assassinaren was going to go down the inside but kept it clean, backed out of it. So Hasbo back in the car now, 7 seconds behind Blink. As Dangerous Donut is catching up to Max.
He's on the back of the Mercedes, cannot find his way through just yet.
I know these two will be in a voice chat together. Did want to be on the same team. Hoping if there'll be some competitive fighting going on here. May the best man win. If Max is smart, even if Finn does start to fight and he lets him pass, all he has to do is stay within the 3 second gap.
Finn got a terrible exit that allowed Max hold the spot, but then he gives up the spot to Finn. Finn up to P4 now.
So Finn up to P4, Max P5. These two having a very good race. Obviously getting that strategy to work.
As I said that Aiden was closing up, obviously we got the commentator's curse, so Aiden is now dropping a few seconds to irrelevant each lap now.
Okay, Irrelevant's getting in the groove. There's I think Future Flip on the back of Dr. Crazy now on the start of Sector 2, using the overtake. Then we'll probably go for a move here.
Yeah, a little too far back for that one.
Oh, Dr. Crazy
has a very terrible exit.
Nearly takes the Williams with him.
That's going to be YT Flipper into the points now.
It's into the points. I don't know what penalties are saying. So Hasbo, 29 seconds left of penalties up ahead of him. I don't know how far Hasbo is. Hasbo's now crossing the line, so he's got a decent amount of time to gain. And if Dr. Crazy will fight back on this. But Finn is flying away from Max now. Don't know if Max has damage or not, but nearly 2 seconds Finn has made now.
I think Max has had a little bit of an issue and is now starting to drop back.
Maybe Max is just lacking the pace in the minute, the consistency. But, a lot of penalties on the grid. But we'll see what happens here. 5 laps left to go, the Canadian Grand Prix. Tenek is gaining a little bit of time on Phil Mitchell. Obviously, Tenek does have 6 seconds worth of time penalties. So at this point, I do think Tenek actually jumps up into 5th place. Which isn't good for Max. I think, I'm not too sure. I think 14, 15, 16. They'll be close, you know.
Penalties are gonna
Tenek,
just throw this race out of whack just a little tiny
if
bit.
Tenek can gain a bit more time, he might jump up into 4th place here if he doesn't gain any more penalties. Phil Mitchell, the most he'll drop is 1 position. He might not even drop, depending on where he finishes compared to Max. But at the minute, big gaps across the whole field. Bradley and Dr. Crazy, the closest on the grid at the minute. So far, a very saucy race. The only driver not in the top 3 that I predicted is Phil Mitchell, but just the soft tyres weren't his favourite tyres today. Have a look at pit stops quickly. Most pit stops going down to Jack as Bradley and Dr. Crazy into turn 1. Bradley did have a little bit of an arm out there. Used Crazy to get around the turn. Those two will. Oh, it's Bradley. That's actually Flipper taps the wall and loses his end plate. 4 laps left to go.
Well, that's disastrous here in the rain. You need all the downforce you can get.
So I don't actually think that Hasbo will lose any positions with his 29 seconds worth of penalties at this point.
Which would be amazing.
I think that's the most he could ask for after disconnecting this many times.
Just some points.
Literally. So Phil Mitchell, at his current position, would gain a position on Max and then lose it to Tenek. Anything can happen. It looks like the rain's coming down a little bit harder now. That would be interesting if we're going to pit for wets in the last few seconds, but I don't think that's going to happen.
As YT Flipper gets another 3-second time penalty. It's about to 12 seconds with penalties.
Obviously, a lot of penalties to be removed.
As we have the card.
I think Phil Mitchell has a 5-second time penalty to get removed, so I'll put him on to 7 seconds. Which might... I don't know what would happen there. But Max, still a decent amount behind Finn. Finn taking the clean air and going out, doing his best. But so far, a very good lap, a very good race. Sorry, from Finn and Max. As I say that, Finn picks up another 3-second time penalty, and Aiden picks up another 3-second time penalty.
And Assassin Aaron also picks up another 3-second time penalty.
Who's next on the list? I do think that last turn is very tricky on the controller, as the Red Bull of Aiden comes to lap Dr. Crazy on the final straight. I think the closest battle we've got here is
as relevant PT picks up another 3-second time penalty.
So he's got 6
with
seconds.
up to 6 seconds.
The gap between 4th and 8th isn't that big, about 3-4 seconds holding up these guys. If any of these guys make a little spin or anything, they will lose that position for sure. As Phil Mitchell is still gaining on Max, only
Tenek
4
with the time
seconds
penalty.
behind. And Tenek, that's not what he needed.
He does not need another
I think
penalty.
at this point, so Phil Mitchell will jump up to 4th. Tenek would knock him down. So at the minute, Phil Mitchell up to 5th on penalties. 2 laps to go. Seven up, also gets a penalty. But to be fair, not too many DNFs. I think the 2 asses were unlucky. Insane Power, just the unluckiest driver on the grid for sure. And then Davies
absolutely
did bring Tenek into a few incidents, and you won't be happy with that, as the AlphaTauri of Xbox 7 up spins on the hairpin again. His tyres are on fire, as you can see him live, crashed out again. But Aiden's slowly gaining on the relevant.
with only 2 laps to go. As long as Relevant keeps it nice and smooth, I think he can pick up another win.
Yeah, looking good for Irrelevant. A bit dangerous down at Finn. Phil and Tanik all fighting. I think Max stronger in the first and second sector, and Phil Mitchell gaining in the third. Might be set up wise. For all we know, people did start the race on wet softs, but I'm not seeing anyone fly through the field, so I doubt it. Haspo gaining on the back of Blink, but obviously will lose a lot of time as he now has 32 seconds of time penalties. He's nearly got more time, like seconds worth of time penalties than there are laps in this race.
That is insane.
That is very impressive from the Renault driver. Will he pick up another one here?
Aiden gets another 3-second time penalty. That is not going to help his
case. It looks like there was a spin. I think Finn spun. There was a yellow flag in sector 1 on the first turn as they all
try to
half a second of each other now. So there's going to be a big fight here in the last 2 laps here between Finn, Max, Finn and Tanik. Will we see any position changes here as Blink picks up a time penalty down in 8th, so that ruins his chances of gaining any positions through time penalties here. But I don't know what happened, but there was a yellow flag. I don't know if Finn spun into the turn, broke Blake and went into the grass, but either way, they're all fighting now. What's going to happen here with... is this the last lap?
It is the last lap of the Grand Prix.
This is the last lap for Irrelevant, but we've got 2 more laps. This lap and 1 more lap for the guys fighting for 4th. All it takes is 1 slide out of here as Phil Mitchell taps the back of Max. I'll give Max a bad exit. Phil's going to get a better exit here onto the final straight. As let's see, AlphaTauri was at the back earlier on, has spun. Phil Mitchell getting past Max on the last straight.
That's Phil Mitchell up to P5, now trying to chase down Dangerous Donut here. Only a couple more.
Any time penalties to be given out on this last turn. Phil Mitchell needs to avoid it if he can. He doesn't get one. So on the last lap here for the fight for 4th. Going to stay on board with this. Irrelevant's going around the last turn now, so I'll jump into him in a minute here. But Max, Phil and Tanik all fighting. They all want that extra few points for the Constructors' Championship here.
Now Tanik on the back of Max here. Oh, almost a little bit of contact there as Max slid it out of turn 2.
Who's going to get the better exit onto the final turn? Max has 85% ERS. He needs to start using that now if he wants to gain anything. Because this is what I mean by saving too much.
But Irrelevant PT with a brilliant drive to win the Grand Prix. Aiden's going to come home here in second.
There. Aiden second. And Alflair crosses for... Or will be crossing for 3rd in a minute as Tanik gets past Max.
A great dive by Tanik to get past
Max. So Phil slowly catching up to Finn as well. If Finn has a bad exit here, if anything happens to Finn here, he'll lose that position.
It's still in the battle for 6 races.
So Max has... Phil Mitchell has the better exit. He's on the back of Finn now. Will Max go for a move on Tanik? Blinks on the back of Max. Max
is struggling here to try to keep pace.
Line. Finn's going to finish ahead of him. Max is on the outside. Blink gets past Max. Into the final turn. So Finn and Cameron.
It's going to be Finn, then Phil Mitchell across the line.
Phil Mitchell gets the position. Tanik goes to 4th. Blink goes to 6th. And Max stays 8th, 7th and 8th for Max and Finn. That was very unlucky. Those two losing a lot of positions there on the last lap. I think Phil Mitchell might gain his position back and 4th due to the 5-second time penalty that will probably appeal from Callum. So it's looking like a 4th place for Phil, 5th for Tanik, 6th for Blink, 7th for Finn and 8th for Max. Those two very unlucky.
Looks like the last point's going to be picked up by...
Those fights early on. Did Hasper get a point?
He did. Oh, yes, he did, actually.
Tanik got driver of the day. I just want to take a look.
Almost 35 seconds of time penalties. Still somehow ended up scoring 2 points in this Grand Prix.
I think a lot of drivers getting unlucky with little incidents.
But on the podium, it's Irrelevant PT. Brilliant drive. Take the win today.
And Aiden and Callum to take 2nd and 3rd for Red Bull, which will put him 1st in the Constructors' Championship. Aiden had a very, very good race. I thought he was off to win it until the rain came. But Irrelevant keeping it clean. Good job from him. Callum, after his little incident with Phil Mitchell pitting early, and got himself back up to 3rd. Fastest lap going to Blink in the Ferrari, so I'll give him an extra point. But either way, Irrelevant first, Aiden second, Alphinator third. Tenek and Phil Mitchell fourth and fifth. Will probably switch positions due to a 5-second time penalty that Phil got, which he shouldn't have. Blink in sixth. Finn and Max very unlucky not to have walked out with more. I think just work on the consistency, lower those time penalties, and those guys will be back up fighting for top 5 positions. Those two, definitely the best race from those two of the season. Hasbo in 9th, 35 seconds worth of time penalties. I don't know how he's still on the grid after, I don't know why the game didn't DNF him. But fair enough, and huge shift up again the last point position, sorry, the last position for points after pitting 5 times. So
Brilliant.
I guess that's good from him, but except from that, a decent race and insane power. Yeah, just unlucky, but we'll definitely get some people in for interviews. I think Phil Mitchell's already joined because he's that keen. Have you included audio, Cam?
No, I haven't.
Your mic's really quiet, you have to unplug and replug quick. But Evan, driver of the day.
It's hard. It's a hard question. He had so many good ones. I'm thinking Max Rogers for driver of the day, personally, for me. Had a nice improvement today.
I'm gonna take a minute to decide, so you can pick yours and we'll talk about it later on, I guess. But Phil,
to be honest,
yeah, I was gonna say Tenek.
he's so
But we'll start off. He had a very good race. He started from towards the back and got up to 4th, possibly 5th. It depends if your time penalty gets removed that Callum gave you under the safety car.
I was going to ask about that. That's why I want an invite.
But we'll see what FIA Danny says. But P5 for now, possibly P4. How was your race, Cam?
Well, it was alright. The qualifying, I was really angry because in sector 2, the left-right, I went really wide and I lost like 3 temps. So I was really angry at that. And then I started off the race. I had a quick start. The guy in front of me was pretty slow. I can't remember who it was. Me and I think Blink or Dangerous Donut got past second, and I just got hit on the first turn. But other than that, I had a really bad race, really, because I just span constantly. I don't know if you saw it.
We saw you were struggling on the soft tyres.
I hated the soft. I don't know what it was.
We are surprised you pitted back onto those when you went onto your second set.
No.
I did think you'd go mediums, but
So I don't know if you noticed, but I was because Jeff said to me, in 10 to 15 minutes there'll be rain. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do 10 to 15 minutes on softs until the rain, and then I went into the back of someone, which ruined that whole strategy. I reckon I could have got like 3rd if that would have worked, because I went to the fastest compound tyre before the rain hit.
Well, either way, P or P5 at the minute, possibly a P4. I think that's very good to walk away with the that's the best quality you've had since the start of the season, P4, and chance of you finishing in P4. But either way, a very strong performance. Ryan getting very unlucky, I think, but either way, good for the team. Both walked out with points. France next week. What are your thoughts on France?
I think it's a horrible track, but I think most people do. So, as long as, I mean, I don't know really, because
Per bit of practicing, you'll
the
be good at
straights
it.
will be
There'll
a
be
lot.
of people
Like
that don't
DRS will be a lot of it. Like it'll mean a lot in that track. So practice, yeah.
Indeed. Well, P4, P5 for now. Nice race, and I guess we'll see you next week. So we have our race winner in the pie. Are you including audio?
Yeah, it's included.
So, an interesting race. A lot of overtaking at the front of the field. I can't quite remember what happened at the start just because of how much happened on the last lap. But a decent quali. Just run us through the race for you.
Well, I don't know what happened with Hasbo. I'm not. Did he disconnect? I don't know. He just didn't start, so I took P1 instantly. Me and Blink battled it out for a couple of laps. He had a really bad strategy, pit for softs 3 times. So I think he would have been in contention with me come the end if he'd.
That is what we said
Held
when we saw he pitted for softs 3 times. Was definitely not the smartest strategy there from Ferrari, but you know, Ferrari does what they want. But either way, P1. I think if it hadn't have rained, you and Aiden would have definitely been fighting for the top spot, as I think Aiden had a very good race from him.
Yeah, and also
Either way,
Callum Alfinator, if there wasn't rain, his strategy would have brought him height.
it would have been close for him. He did pit under the safety car on the first lap due to a bit of wing damage, but who knows what would have happened. I think the rain definitely spiced it up, and the big fight at the back. But either way, first place, you got to be happy with that. I don't know how many wins that is now, but I will speak to you after the race about a possible just sticking into tier 1, and I'll also speak to Callum and see what he says. But either way, nice race. France next week. What are your thoughts on France?
France is my least favourite track. I'd rather do Monaco every week than France.
I don't see why people hate Evan, do you like France?
I do not like France. I don't.
I love France. Why do you guys hate it so much?
It's just horrible.
Boring.
Nah, you're boring.
No doubt.
Either way, France next week, that'll be an interesting one, because I don't know who will win France, because yeah. Either way, congrats on P1, and we'll see you next week.
Cheers.
Well, I could get Max and Finn into the party. Got a few people to invite, so we'll get Matt, we'll get Tenek. I just muted him, I didn't invite him. Need to invite Finlay. Did he leave? Yeah, let me see if I can find Finn. Max, can you do me a favour? Can you quickly invite Finn? We'll interview Tanik first. Can you include an audio?
Crazy is in here as well.
Yeah, I am.
We'll do Crazy Matt. So Tanik, currently P4, possibly P5, depending on what FIA say to penalties.
Even if he does get that 5-second time penalty removed, I still would have been ahead of him on penalties.
There was only a 1 second gap between you and him after the penalties. So he would jump you if he got the 5-second time penalty removed. So it would be P5 if it gets removed. We'll see what happens. But either way,
I thought you had 15 seconds.
the gap between you and him, it shows after you cross the line, and the gap from your penalties after they'd both been applied was 1 second.
Ah, right, okay.
So if he gets it removed, he'd be 4 seconds ahead of you without penalties.
Right, okay.
But either way, P4 at the minute was a quality race. I'm pretty sure you started from the back.
Started
obviously,
third, terrible qualifying because on my second flying lap, Finn completely blocked us. So I got a broken front wing, that's why I dived into the pits. Yeah. So apart from that, it had to go AFK halfway through the race as well. So I was P4, dropped down to P9, good recovery race, I guess.
Had they had a few incidents with the racing point of, I think it was Lee Davies.
I was AFK then, because I got back and I was like, I'd literally picked up my headset, I was like, whoa, I've just had a massive collision.
Fair enough then. Either way, he lost the rear end and caught the front of your car when going off. But I think P4/P5 isn't bad. Obviously, your teammate, one of the most unlucky people I know.
He sent us the clip. He got dive bombed basically, right? He shouldn't have been dive bombed, and he hit him, and he's gone into the wall, and he's just slightly hit the barrier, and his front rights come off.
There is a few drivers I will be talking to based on their performance today after this, but either way, P4/P5 not bad from what you've gone through today. But either way, France next week. What are your thoughts on France?
My favourite track by far.
Let's go! Why aren't you guys like Tenek, bro? Come on.
Yes.
France is a good track. I don't care what anyone
very
says.
fast around there. Very fast around there. So. Yeah.
You've said that now. You better prove something next week.
I will.
Hopefully, we'll see you in the top 3 around France. But
hopefully.
Either way, nice race. We haven't decided on the driver of the day yet, but you are up for one of the possible drivers for it. But either way, we'll nice race today, and we'll see you next week.
See you then. Right, bye.
Finn and Max, if you both want to include your audio, we might as well talk to both of you. Finn, are you including audio?
Yep.
So, you're both fighting P4, P5. had a few penalties. It was a very good race until the rain came. I know it was just perfect. Both racing clean, both consistent. Obviously picked up a few penalties, which ruined the top five at the end of the race. But obviously the few overtakes that happened as well, and the last lap or two did make it very entertaining. But what were your guys' thoughts on that race? We'll have Finn go first, I guess.
I'm not happy with that. I qualified okay in the second turn. I just dropped it by myself. I'll take that. But after the pit stop under the safety car, I think I was P11. And when the safety car goes green, I was much faster than the assassin Aaron in front of me. And so I tried to go around him on a straight, and he just forgets I'm there and just bins me into a wall. So my whole front wing is gone, pretty much. I have to pit.
Have you got it? As long as you got it clipped, then that's fine.
Yeah. And then, so I was like last by quite a while back. And so I was fighting my way through, and an Alfa Romeo, I had DRS and I was faster, and I was just going through pretty much, and you just kind of forget something there, force me onto the grass, and I get a penalty. And then I just got loads of other penalties, and yeah.
Well, either way, it looked good. Like, your racing looked good when me and Evan were watching you. A very strong performance up top. And Max, do you want to run us through your race?
I'm very happy with 8th place. Nothing really went wrong. I just kind of tried to keep it clean, and yeah.
It was unlucky, to say the least, and when the rain came. Obviously, Phil Mitchell and Tanek and Blink getting past you in the last lap and a half was some very good racing, nice and clean. It's good to see you didn't go for anything stupid, but a few of the drivers on the grid would have just dive bombed again into the last turn, so that was clean. And obviously the penalties, just consistency on the track limits is all that you really need to start fighting for the top 5 positions. But either way, nice race. P8 got some points for Mercedes, and France next week. What are your Finn and Max's opinion on France?
I kind of like the track. I've not really driven it much. I'm gonna do some practice and hopefully pick up more points.
And Finn?
I like the track, but I'm not very good at that. And that incident with Tanek in quali, so there's a lot of cars in front of me. I don't know if they collided, but they were all just going so slow. And I was on an outlap.
I'm pretty
as
sure we
well.
caught it on the stream. I'm pretty sure. I think we had the Red Bull of Alphinator ruin someone's lap. Edel, correct me if I'm wrong. I think there's about 6 drivers that all got caught up by the incident that Alphinator caused with some people, and that's probably what he's on about. But either way, we got it on stream, so we can run through that when the reports start coming in. But it's just it was unlucky for a lot of people, but it was a very good race to watch towards the end, and I think you two had a very strong race and got very unlucky towards the end. But either way, nice race. P7 for Finn, P8 for Max, and got a few fans in the chat. I think throughout the whole race, probably Peter and that. But either way, they're supporting you, and well, I guess we'll see you two next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Dr. Crazy, do you want to include your audio?
Yeah, still included. Just patiently waiting.
Let me turn. Sorry, I didn't even see you join. That's my bad.
That's alright.
Let me turn you up a little bit. There we go. So, quali. How did quali go for you?
Quali wasn't too bad. I just literally couldn't put through a time. It felt like every time it was that final chicane, it just couldn't get it right. When I got it right, it was fine, and I ended up getting 11th in quali, which is not. Could have done better. I was in about 9th for quite a solid amount until right at the end. A couple people overtook me, which is fine.
Unlucky.
Yeah.
If it hadn't have rained, it probably would have been a different story.
Oh, it was a disappointing race. It was very much of a Jekyll and Hyde race. In the dry, it was amazing. I think I was up to 5th at one point, having a fantastic drive, and then as soon as the rain went in, it just went downhill from there.
Penalty wise, do you know how many penalties you got?
I got about 11 seconds, I believe.
So 11 seconds. It wasn't as bad as half of the grid on there, but
No, it
obviously
was
the
it was
second-
poor, and I only had up to 3 seconds in the dry, and then everything bad happened in the wet. I don't know what happened to my race there.
It would have been probably setup, something that me and E-Dog were talking about in the stream. Setup would have affected a lot of people
Yeah.
towards the end of the race there, as Max found out when he got caught up by 3 other cars. But either way, signs of improvement.
Yeah.
Obviously, in the dry, a lot more dominant. Obviously, not the best first race for Alfa Romeo you could have
No, I
could have hoped for, but either way, not a bad race at all.
No.
France next week. Any? What's your opinion on France?
Apart from the first corner, I think the track's amazing. I don't know why it's so hated.
That is what we like to see. We need more people like this guy in the league, bro. I think France is very good. I think the first turn, as long as you don't turn too late, it's easy. I don't see how many people will get.
Yeah.
If there's many time penalties, I'd be surprised.
My tactic usually is prayer for the first corner. So we'll
Just
see how
send
it
it.
goes. I always send
But
it.
either way, hopefully some points next week.
I hope.
And see what we can see how you'll do. I reckon towards the end of the season you'll be up there. I think it'll be
Hopefully, I think
points.
I
every
would like
race,
to
but-
argue from the earlier races to now, I think I'm one of the most improved drivers on the track.
There is a lot of very much improved drivers on the grid. I think there's a lot that I need to talk to after today's race. But yeah, either way, hopefully we'll see you get some points next week. And I guess unlucky or not,
Yeah.
securing a point today.
Cheers. Over there.
See ya. So I think we'll do one more interview. We'll get Blink in here. I want to ask about his strategy for sure. It's definitely the highlight of today's strategies. I'll just wait for Ben to include his audio.
Hello? Yeah, it's included.
You including your audio?
Yeah.
So, the man that pitted for softs 3 times in a row,
Yeah.
and then mediums before the rain.
No, yeah, my strategy was all over the place there. I got
Happens in your race for Ferrari.
I got a damaged wing, so that was the reason I went back on the softs when I got a new wing. I was gonna try and make up a few positions and see what I could do and see if I could pull back the race of whatever it was. I don't really know, but I'm just gutted really because me and I think it was Alpha Nate had a bit of an incident into turn 1, which I'm not very happy about. But it is what it is. So yeah, I'm very happy about that.
Then tell us about the medium call as it started to rain.
Well, that was my default strategy. It was soft medium, and then obviously I went into the pits and it just started raining. So I had to quickly get around the track and try and get in out as fast as possible with the intermediates on. So yeah,
You still ended up with 6th though. I think.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
a nice few overtakes on the last lap.
it's not too bad of a finish. P6. I was hoping for better, obviously, leading the race, but it is what it is. I can't really do much about it.
I think both Ferraris could have scored a lot more points than what they did.
Yeah.
But just unlucky. Obviously, the rain. If it hadn't started raining, maybe a better outcome when you went onto the mediums. But
Yeah.
the Ferrari strategist definitely needs a little word. But France next week. What are your thoughts? On France?
It's definitely a track more suited to me. Fast corners, easy long straights, not really that hard in my opinion. So I think I should be fairly decent on it. But
I love some of the things people say in it because they probably set themselves up for next week. Not hard, pretty easy. If you go spin out and crash now, that'll be entertaining.
I'll try not to do that. But yeah, no, I think there's going to be a lot of good drivers on France. So I've got my work cut out for me on France. But I don't know. I'll see. I'll put some practice in and hopefully it'll go well.
See what happens.
Yeah.
E-Dog, do you have any questions? Sorry, I forgot to ask earlier if you had any with anyone else. That's my bad.
Mm.
Awesome.
There you
Well,
go.
Blink, I think you got fastest lap as well.
Yeah.
Of that race, and a cheeky extra point. But either way, unlucky.
Yeah.
Get your reports in if you have any,
Yeah,
and we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. So I think that's everyone for interviews. I will just double check.